Everyone experiences anger. There are countless reasons to feel angry. We can't always control angry feelings, and it is easy to feel justified in our anger. We may even feel better in the moment after expressing anger in aggressive ways. But expressing anger doesn't help us feel better in the long term. And it can result in strained relationships, physical illness, financial loss, and maybe even physical damage to self and others. When we allow ourselves to dwell on angry thoughts, our body also reacts. Physical reactions in the body increase our emotional temperature level. Certain behaviors can intensify our anger, so learning skills that help us cool down is an important part of managing anger. What are some behaviors that heat anger? Why, making accusations, arguing while angry, yelling, screaming, shouting, dwelling on hurt feelings, planning revenge, engaging in any form of violence. Skills that cool anger? Counting to 10 or higher. Non-competitive exercising, meditating, praying, relaxing, going outside, choosing helpful thoughts, listening to calming music, taking deep breaths. To manage your anger, identify the different emotions underlying it. It's often easier to be angry than to deal with your real underlying feelings. Here are some underlying emotions and experiences that may result in you feeling angry. Resentment, disappointment, shame, hopeless, guilty, overwhelmed, embarrassed, frustrated, inferior, grief, insensitive, heartbroken, afraid, anxious, worried, threatened, nervous, rejected, entitled, hurt, offended, victimized, lonely, injustice, hunger, fatigue, or even just unmet expectations. But controlling anger is important for our health and our relationships. When building relationships, we must take the initiative to reach out to others and be tolerant of differences. Become genuinely interested in other people. Learn what other people love or enjoy. You don't have to have the same interests, but you can learn to care about what they're interested in. Smile. Happiness does not depend on what is happening around you, but rather how you respond to your circumstances. Smiles are free and can be a great way of making others feel better. Remember people's names. A person's name is the most important sound to him or her, whether the person realizes it or not. Learning someone's name can help that person feel valued and important. Be a good listener. Encourage others to talk about themselves. People feel appreciated when someone listens to them. The easiest way to have someone want to talk to you is to become a good listener. To be a good listener, you must genuinely care about what others have to say. Try sincerely to make others feel important. The golden rule is to treat other people how you would like to be treated. People like to feel important, like what they say or do matters to others. You can do your best to help people feel important by practicing the ideas we talked about today. Disagreements and differences with others are a natural part of relationships. This can happen because of differences in values, opinions, perceptions, motivations, desires, and ideas. Learning to address these differences in a healthy way can strengthen your relationships with others and help you develop empathy and patience. Healthy conflict resolution is likely to occur when individuals feel safe and valued. Though differences are normal, they do not have to lead to contention. It's the contention during a conflict that causes the problem. When a personal difference occurs, you might have difficulty clearly communicating your side without escalating the conflict. Using I messages can help you state your concerns, feelings, and needs in a manner that is easier for the listener to hear and understand. An I message focuses on your own feelings and experiences rather than your perspective of what the other person has done or failed to do. The first part of an I message identifies and expresses your own feelings, which is critical in addressing conflict or disagreement. It helps to lessen defensive feelings and makes it easier to listen to another. Instead of saying, "You never listen to anyone and you're not really listening to me now," try saying, "I feel discouraged when I don't think I'm understood. Keeping eye contact helps me feel like you care." When you take time to communicate your feelings to someone, you might assume it is the other person's responsibility to follow through on fulfilling your desire. But even when you communicate your feelings to others, your feelings and desires are still your responsibility. When your I message doesn't produce the desired result, you can still act lovingly to create the outcome you want instead of becoming resentful. Finally, the greatest gift you can give others is to show interest in them, ask questions, listen with love, and help them feel safe sharing with you. So what are some steps you can take to help validate someone who is facing a challenge? Listen. Be present and listen intently to what the person's telling you. Don't be defensive if you have contributed to the person's problem. Try to understand. You might need to ask compassionate questions to better understand what the person is feeling. Do your best to understand where the person is coming from. Accept the person's feelings. Don't try to change the person or say he or she is wrong for feeling this way. As you do this, be careful not to encourage unhealthy or harmful thinking patterns. Express compassion. Express that you care about what the person is feeling, even if you can't relate to the situation or the cause of the feeling. You can validate the person's feelings by saying, "You feel disrespected," or anxious, or hopeless, or worthless, angry, so on. It's hard to feel that way. Show love. Tell the person that you care about them and that you are confident in his or her ability to solve or overcome the problem. Caring for loved ones can be hard and overwhelming. As you seek to care for those in need, try to be understanding and avoid passing judgment. Just don't be judgmental. An attitude of acceptance is critical. If you have a loved one with emotional issues, you may often be so focused on taking care of that person that you forget to take care of yourself. The support of family and friends and peer mentors can have a positive impact on treatment of serious social and emotional health issues. Setbacks are a normal part of life and an expected part of any effort to change. Your setbacks can teach you ways to continue your progression. When you face setbacks, it's helpful if you focus on the improvement and not perfection. If you suffer from persistent feelings of overwhelming anger, sadness, fear, emotional pain, or hopelessness, regardless of what you do, and these feelings remain and are often mentally and physically debilitating, it's hard to know whether or not to seek professional help, but beware of warning signs that might indicate a need for professional help. If despite feelings sometimes coming and going, the issues have continued for many months, or you feel physically incapacitated and your appetite and sleep patterns change, you have uncontrollable sense of worry and anxiety, you contemplate harming yourself or others, your ability to function on a day-to-day basis is affected, limiting your productivity. If you are experiencing some of these warning signs and are worried about your health, talk to a healthcare professional or someone you trust. So what are the most meaningful things you learned today? And what are the things you're going to do as a result of what you learned today? I hope you write it down and make it happen, because it's all about you in 2022. Let's talk.
All about you in 2022. Let's talk.